Well, let's now go to Vaughan, where it is shaping up to be a hotly contested race in the upcoming municipal elections here in the province of Ontario. Of course, one of the main candidates running in that race is Stephen Del Duca, the former leader of the Ontario Liberal Party. However, a lot of people, even some pollsters, saying that perhaps this race in Vaughan is not a shoe-in for Del Duca. Let's bring in one of Del Duca's main competitors, Sandra Yeung Racco. Sandra, thanks so much for making the time.
Thank you very much, Wyatt. Very nice to meet you.
Let's just start out. You're running against a fairly high-profile politician in the province of Ontario, of course, Stephen Del Duca. Even in Vaughan, quite high-profile, getting the endorsements of the incumbent mayor, some local MPs, such as the MP for Vaughan Woodbridge, Francesco Sorbara, as an example. What do you ultimately believe makes you a more qualified candidate than your opponent, Stephen Del Duca, in this race?
Well, thank you for that question. And yes, actually, he's running against me, not the other way around, because I put my name in way before he did. I think that the difference between the two of us is the fact that I've been a city councilor for almost 19 years. I have delivered to my community. I've worked with my community. I am knowledgeable. I have skills. I know how to maneuver around the municipal level of politics. I also have established good relationship with both staff, with community groups, with different levels of government. I can basically get work started as soon as I get elected.
But I mean, I guess again, just going back to the point that I made there in my last answer or in my last question, sorry, when you look at, again, the incumbent mayor, some local MPs endorsing Stephen Del Duca, how hard might it be for you to, work with some of those people if you are elected as mayor, if you do not have their support in this mayoral municipal election?
You know what, election campaign, you get lots of things going on and people endorsing and not endorsing and so forth. But once the election is over, I truly believe that people will put everything aside and we work together in consensus to try to do what's best for the city. So I don't have any issue with it. I have worked with so many, I've been elected 5 times, and there are people that have endorse me, have people backing me, and people that haven't backed me. But at the end of the day, we all pull together and work together. So I don't have any issues with that whatsoever.
When you look at Vaughan itself as a city, when you look at what Stephen Del Duca has been able to do for the city versus what yourself has been able to do for the city of Vaughan, what do you see as some of those, major differences, and what ultimately are you looking forward to doing if you get elected as mayor? And perhaps talk about, if Sandra is elected as mayor, what might be, the first thing you do in the mayor's office, second or third?
Okay, thank you. Well, first of all, Stephen Del Duca hasn't done anything at the city because he was only at the province. He was there for a short time. He was the Minister of Transportation, but really, truthfully, he hasn't done a heck of a lot because even things like advancing, right now he's talking about advancing the Yonge Street subway line. Well, that was put in back in 2007. He did nothing on that, and now we are now with a different government. They are now actually finally advancing it. So he hasn't been in the municipal level of government, so he hasn't really done anything for us. Yes, he has done stuff on the provincial level, but he tries to claim that he did. He brought the subway in. Let me make it very clear to you. First of all, in 2006, I was the chair of the Spadina York Subway Extension Committee. And in 2009, I was actually appointed to the York Region Subway Task Force. So he didn't do anything. He wasn't even elected at that time. So I'm not sure how he brought the subway to the city of Vaughan. But having said that, I do things. I have delivered so many parks and community centers. I have delivered programs. I have brought, in fact, because of the subway, we basically kickstart the entire development of our VMC, which is our downtown, the Vaughan Metropolitan Center. And if you have if you have had a chance to come see what we're doing now in the downtown, is one of the fastest growing downtown that you can imagine. But not only that, but we're also looking at the things that we can. So for me, I think that one of the issues that we have is because of the growth, we also have a lot of traffic gridlocks. So I am definitely going to be working to try to bring more integrated, seamless connection so that we actually get people to be able to get on public transportation and actually get onto the subways. Right now, most people don't want to go on the subway because there's a good connection. Because people only get on the public transportation if it's seamless, if it's efficient, if it's timely, and if it's cost effective. Right now, we have every time when you go over a border, you have to pay extra fare, and that's not what we want. So I will be lobbying the provincial government and others to try to bring more integrated fare, and people are actually paying for the distance that they're traveling, not because they live on another side of the border, they have to pay extra. That's one of the things. But one of the biggest things that we are hearing right now is, of course, crime, the increase of crime. We hear about car thefts, we hear about break-ins, we hear about all sorts of crime, and of course, shooting as well. I have already stated out there that in my first 100 days, I am going to bring together a community safety task force and bring in strategic partners from all levels of government and from the police and other forces and community advocates. We have to drill down to understand why we're having more crimes. We need to understand the root of cause before we can actually resolve. So we will look at also the social and the mental well-being of these people. We also need to talk to the federal government to make sure that the crime that these people are getting, they have a harsher penalty. Right now, people get this crime and then they get out in a few weeks and they reoccur. So we got a lot of reoccurring criminals that are doing these unwanted activities. So we will do many things, and we're going to find workable solutions. That's what we're going to do. And then finally, the other thing I think I want to really look at is, because as we are growing, we have been saying that we want this city to be a world-class city. To be a world-class city, you also need arts and culture. We have not focused on the arts and culture at all. And this is something that I want to bring in. We want to bring more inclusivity because our city has grown. It used to be a smaller city with more mainly Italian people and Jewish people. Now there's many different cultures. In fact, we speak 115 languages. Therefore, we need to be much more inclusive and much more welcoming.
Okay, Vaughan Mayoral candidate Sandra Yeung Racco, thanks so much for making the time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. I wish you the very best. Thank you.
Thank you.